Your brain is a hard-working mechanical wonder. The brain controls our thoughts and movements, breathing and heartbeat, and it allows us to sense the world around us, even while we sleep. This means that your brain requires a constant supply of fuel. That fuel comes from the foods we eat, and what's in that fuel makes all the difference, which means what you eat can have a direct impact on the structure and function of your brain and mood. But what happens when we deprive our brains of this much needed fuel? In this video, we will be answering 9 questions about what happens to the human brain when we go on a diet. Question 1. What happens to the brain when we go on a diet? The brain's stress response is activated during an energy crisis, such as a diet. During a diet, the brain's stress response can't return to its normal mode because the cortisol level, which is the stress hormone that helps your body manage changes to your metabolism or blood pressure, is continuously raised. Too much cortisol can cause our connective tissue to age and leads to severe mood swings, even depression. When this occurs, the brain and its stress reflex can't get used to the diet mode. Physiologically, it's simply impossible because the energy requirements of the brain can't be altered. It's like thinking you can reduce the fuel consumption of a car simply by filling it up with less petrol. Question 2. Why do diets make our skin age faster? When you reduce your calorie intake, you're robbing your brain of energy. The brain declares a state of emergency to prevent this, and the level of cortisol in the body increases. The result, fatty tissue is drawn out from areas such as the face and is stored as abdominal fat. Cortisol level increases can accelerate the aging of skin and connective tissues. Question 3. Does the brain respond differently to starvation? From the brain's perspective, every food shortage, be it a voluntary weight loss program or actual starvation, is treated like an energy crisis. In both instances, the brain implements emergency measures. It activates stress responses to make a search for food. Question 4. Why do all the internal organs apart from the brain shrink during a diet? Researchers have shown that going on a diet causes internal organs such as the heart, liver and kidneys to get thinner, with the exception of the brain. Why? Because it provides for itself first, in contrast to other organs. The shrinking process would inflict irreversible damage on the brain, so it does everything in its power to protect itself from this harm. Question 5. Can a blood test reveal if we're likely to become fat? Slim people with a raised insulin level have an almost 100% risk of becoming obese in the future. Insulin is a hormone that helps the body convert blood sugar into energy. A high level of insulin is an early warning sign of a disturbed brain pool. A brain pool is a mechanism that demands glucose from the body to account for a sudden loss of weight within the body. Question 6. Why do overweight people keep eating even though their body has enough stored energy? Normally, the brain draws energy from its reserves in the body, including fats and muscles. If the ability to do this, known as competent brain pool, is disturbed, the brain is starved of energy. It becomes more dependent on the energy that circulates as glucose in the blood and demands more and more food. Overweight people suffer from a lack of energy, even though their bodily reserves are fully stocked. Their brains have lost the key to opening those reserves. Question 7. Is obesity really a disease? If the brain pool is no longer working, the organ needs a plan B to get enough energy. Rather than taking glucose primarily from the body's fat reserves, it gets it directly from the blood when the blood sugar levels have been raised after a meal. This is an example of the brain's ability to problem solve to reverse an energy emergency. However, a side effect of this ingenious solution is that the person gains weight. If you try to burn off this extra weight by dieting, the brain spirals into a new energy crisis, which can also have dramatic consequences. These negative changes in the way our body responds to energy shortage and consumption means that by definition obesity is a complex disease and is recognized as a significant public health hazard. Question 8. Why do we wake up in the night feeling hungry? If this happens, it's highly likely that a lack of energy is to blame. Usually the brain's energy demands are up to 40% lower at night. That's why we normally don't experience feelings of hunger while we sleep. However, if we wake up feeling ravenous, the body's fat reserves are clearly no longer sufficient to provide the brain with enough energy during the night. Question 9. Does less food equal lower sex drive? Diets that impact on our energy levels force the brain to act. They divert just enough energy without causing a crisis, but the body must compensate. It dials down all of its systems that aren't vital to survival. Concentration decreases and you get tired more easily. Another symptom to this and dieting can be a lower sex drive. These were 9 questions answered about the hungry human brain. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to click on that subscribe button. If you haven't already, we post interesting and informative videos every month. And always remember, stay brainy.